My name is Jazrell Emil Kavan, representing NSJT. No secrets, just truth. I'm no fool. I spent my life building a man that can be able to hold his head up high, that can be able to say that from the top of his head to the soles of his feet, he believes in the words that he say. He believes that he is able to move all obstacles out of his way. He believes in the power of the word. Not just the word, but the word he speaks. He believes that he stands on holy ground, that the enemy can try his tricks and his temptations. But I'm no fool. I settle not for anything less than what is offered to me by my God. And my God offers me a longevity. He offers me the path to destiny. He offers me the ability to evolve into something greater, because I belong to something greater. I know my wealth. I know my soul knows my wealth. I store up my treasures in heaven and not on earth. I trust not in the words of any man, but the man who comes to me and speaks the language of God. Now you say, how do you know what is the language of God? I know because I be able to discern from your body movements, from what you're saying, what your deeds are. I want to know what you've done before I place my faith in you. I've told people over and over again, God says, trust no man. So for my friends and my family, they know I say, don't trust me, but have faith in me. That the Lord will allow me to bless you. That the Lord would allow me to keep a straight tongue, speaking only the words of truth. I was 15 when I began to build on something that was solid, and that was my faith. Y'all ain't hearing me. I had no father. My father was locked up for 25 years. There was no man around. My mother never remarried. My mother never dated. She spent her days and her nights being with her children, trying to instill in us not only the word, but the respect and the honor and the heart of the law. She made us watch other people, watch certain situations, and told us, beware of the wolf in sheep clothing. I am no fool. For those who believe that they are able to stop me by not responding to me, that they're able to stop me by trying to distort who I am, by those who try to slander the name that I have built with my blood, sweat, and tears, is foolish. My name is Jazrell Emil Kavan, and Jezreel means that God sows. And that's what I do. I sow seeds. It's not my job to do anything for you that you cannot do for yourself. My job is to help you lift that burden. My job is to put the spark of inspiration in you, that spark of passion, that spark of desire to want to know more, to relight the fire in you, to remind you that God has not forgotten you, that He hears your prayers. He knows what you need. Just don't turn your back on those who come. God has left me with a message that to this day has never changed. You can offer a man the whole world and he'll take nothing. It's easy to do in the world right now because people like to play games with each other. And there's catches. The catch-22 to their plan to sucker you in. You so fooled and blinded by how many times you've been tricked, you can't tell when the Lord is knocking at your door. But I'm no fool. In Proverbs it says, wisdom was the spirit that He used to create the earth. It's the oldest spirit that when you do seek God, you seek God through wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is something that is taught and repeated over and over again till it is inscribed in your brain. But wisdom is something that comes inside you and changes your perspective. It makes you look at the world for what it really is. It makes you want to learn why the world is the way it is. Like my brother Cornel West, Michael Eric Dyson, Dick Gregory. I love the propheticness that they speak because we are wallowing in the filth that we were born in. But we were told to stand up and clean up, wash off the things of your mothers and fathers, their deeds, their sin, and become clean and stand ready for the Master, the Teacher, the Father, the Alpha, the Omega. That we must be the prophetic ones, speaking prophetic words. In the African American community, they look to Martin Luther King because he spoke prophetically. He didn't let anybody turn him around. He didn't let anybody stop him from spreading the word as it should be. A man of God. They shot your liberator of the mind that was speaking of your heritage, Malcolm X. Because Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root and not hate the tree. That you have been thoroughly brainwashed. But nobody can see that we are the ones that must rise now and have a voice in a battle over the future. This right now, what's going on is a war over dreams. Whether the future we're going to have is a better future. Whether the children that we're raising right now is going to have an opportunity to have better than what we had. Now, if you any kind of parent, you'll be striving and working and doing everything you got to do to ensure that you raise not only good children, but your house is in order. Because when your house is chaotic, your soul is disturbed, and the devil then got you. You begin slipping and sliding. All along, your children are watching you. You don't understand children. They look up to us. And when they see us slipping and sliding, they think that's the way the world is supposed to be. The Lord said, spare not the rod. Discipline, because we must stand upright. We must be good fruit when it comes time for harvest. I'm no fool. I've been studying psychology, theology, metaphysics, history, philosophy, science, biology, politics, geopolitics, economics. That's why I was the youngest manager of my time. I was 16 years old telling 40-year-old people what to do. Because I didn't wait for anybody to teach me to rise up. I knew I had already been sentenced to 14 years living out the hood next door to everybody so they can hear your business when it goes on in your house because it's paper thin walls. Everybody living beneath the level of real life. We were living beneath the poverty level. You was lucky if you made $18,000 within a year. And people used to ask me, how do you keep getting higher and higher up the status ladder? It's because I don't speak like where I came from. But don't get me wrong, when I'm home and I'm out in the neighborhood, I speak the way the neighborhood speak. But God said we gotta still be able to flip our tongue and be able to speak to the principalities and those in authority and speak their language. You can tell how your boss is by what channel they like to watch. They're not watching BET all the time. They're not watching MTV all the time. They're watching the news. They got to be aware of commodities. How much rice is, how much sugar is, how much corn is. They got to know when they're in the restaurant industry, they got to know the cost of these things. When something go bad and people dying from it, they got to find out it's coming from their vendors. They got to find out from the FDA what they supposed to do. They watching the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P so they know whether it's good enough for them to hire some more people, whether it's good to give a raise. You not understand it. When you watch CNN, it's because you're in between Republican and Democrat. You are independent, so you don't have a side. But when you watch MSNBC, you're a Democrat, you liberal. You believe in the freedom of letting people live their lives. You're saying that you don't judge. A woman has a right to choose to have a child or end their life. That's their choice. That wages need to go up. That there need to be more opportunity. That the government should be of the people. By the people. See, Obama represents the Democratic Party, that we want to include everybody and leave nobody behind. You saw the hearts of everybody elect him twice. He has made history as a Democrat, as a liberal, because we believe that if you want to do this, nobody can stop it. The Republican Party is the good old boys that want to regulate everything that you do. They want to tax you more and more so they can put money in their pockets. They want to take away from you so that they can have more. You wonder why the crisis in 2008 happened? Because they were playing the role of what their mantra is. Cut taxes on the rich. Let them make money. And let's take away from everybody else. Gambling our money away to the point that the economy almost collapsed in a single day. The surplus of the Democrat Bill Clinton had left for this country was wiped away in 8 years. And see, people don't listen to Obama now. He trying to engage the young people and remind you that you're supposed to be paying attention to your future and know what your future is, that this is your life at stake, that you should be paying attention to who's getting elected and what bill is being passed and who trying to stop what. They're trying to stop your ability to vote under the Voting Act of 1965 that Lyndon Johnson gave us, so that we would not be discriminated against in the voting booth. But you don't care about that. You care about what the next Usher CD is going to be and what Chris Brown and Rihanna's doing. You learn about the Housewives of New York and CSI and all this other stuff. You don't care to know until you fall on hardship and have them deny you of Medicare because you make too much money. Deny you of Medicaid because you make too much money because of the poverty line cuts off at $23,000 a year. So if you make 24, you can't get nothing. You can't get no food stamps. You working a part-time job, having to work another job because you can't find a full-time job with benefits. You got old people working at drive-thrus at minimum wage when they're supposed to be retired and taking care of, working jobs that's supposed to be for teenagers because the economy has flipped. You don't hear me? You don't. You don't remember when waitresses were able to be paid by a regular rate of minimum wage and receive tips and didn't have to report it. But now they're making $2.13 an hour and federally have to record every dollar in tips that they make. They squeezing you. They putting so many obstacles in your way. But I'm no fool. I know it's the prince of principalities using his authority to break you down. It's the reason why the Lamb says that we must fight against principalities and those in authority. You can't serve two masters. Now they're talking about cutting food stamps again. Changes how much money you gotta make for food stamps because 47% of the country is on food stamps. So right now they're holding that out so they won't have to raise the debt ceiling, but I know you don't even know what that is because you don't even pay attention. The average debt of all the Americans, $300 million, is $40,000 and ticking upward. So every child is already born in debt. You are in debt. You have become slaves to the dollar bill without even knowing it. You don't even know that the Federal Reserve is not even part of the government, that it's the richest people that decide what the interest rate is. That the act was signed in 1913 when the Congress was on break on Jekyll Island. And Woodrow Wilson said that he regretted what he did because by what he did, no man would own his own land anymore. That the citizens will no longer be free to make themselves prosper. Some will lose their home, lose everything they got. They bailed out everybody with $800 billion, but the American people. They played a game with the stimulus instead of with Social Security and disability paying the cost of living. They gave you a payday, a little bit of money, by taking a payroll tax off your check. It was so little you didn't even notice. But those who were crippled and on retirement couldn't get a cost of living increase. We had to wait a full year. Decisions that they're making right now is critical to your future. children's future. But Proverbs says, if you hang with fools, you'll become one of them. I suggest it's a time to change your approach to life. It's time that you wake up and begin to research and gain wisdom. Not knowledge, but wisdom. There's only 400 families that holds the entire 1% wealth of America, while everybody else is getting spoiled, cut, jobless, homeless, foodless. This is turning into a house of desolation. We're living in a time where we can say that there's a fall of the empire, an end to the era of prosperity. We can hear the voices of our ancestors through their words and their writings and their books that you don't bother to read. Predicted that if our generation did not stay in school, if our generation did not stay on the road of progress and making way, that we will suffer the consequences of the storm that will come. From Martin Luther King, he saw it through the way of the Bible. He said he's seen the promised land. Now look what they've done to it. Now we're waiting on the scales of justice to come. We're waiting on the power of the Spirit of the Lord to come, to figure out who belongs where. Why you got everybody claiming to go to heaven? I want you to remember that the book of life means deeds, words, actions, faith, and what you've done to change the world around you. I'm going to end this by saying I'm no fool. I follow every bit of news and research, every paper and every word. That's why I love etymology. That's why I love Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. You can make fun of me if you like to, but I follow politics and geopolitics. You can ask me questions about 401k plans and how to save your money and how the system works for you, how to get what you want, because I spend my days working, because I have a family that I love enough to tell them when things are going in a different direction than where they're supposed to be going. I keep their heads full of the promise of God and remind them that we are the shepherds of our destiny. We are the architects of the day and the night. We believe in a holy God that neither slumbers nor sleep. We believe that he breathes life in words. So we speak the truth, no matter how much it pains those who love us or despise us. We'll rather have enemies of men than the enemy of God. I'm no fool. May you be blessed with the spirit of wisdom as you move forward.